All right, so I'm back online. Now I'm listening to the streamer Theo. Pretty cool guy. I enjoy some of his videos and his personality. Um, should check him out. I recommend it. This will also keep my audio running. I'm gonna turn it down so I can hear my brain think a little longer, a little more. But I'm not a huge Next was it Next.js? Is it Next? Yeah, Next.js and React guy, but I have enjoyed his perspective on things, and he works with serverless technologies. So those are things that I aspire to do, but I work with server boxes for the most part. Spring Boot, Angular, React, those are my bread and butter. React I've worked in for a couple of years. Angular I've worked a little longer, and I'm back into Angular. I was kind of depending on the job. I do what I need to do. But I will say I really enjoy the architecture that Angular has. It gives me a very familiar functionality in terms of the service-oriented architecture, and it's just separation of concerns. Where React kind of leaves it up to you to find that structure, and even Angular you can kind of modify that. But today I'm in Maven Hell. I've been working with OpenAPI generate projects. I actually have a colleague that if I just can't figure this out, oh, the end of his video. Oh no, it's a bummer. I might have to listen to music or something. Hopefully not get like banned or muted again. I like have a whole like mental breakdown on video. It's real classy. Um, I mean, played Lady Gaga and I got censored. And I was like, really? She's fantastic. Um, so yeah, I'm at a point where I've validated that my project is actually pulling it, so it's not authentication. I was having authorization issues with. My God, Alaska. Hey, no barking. I'll be right back. Oh, she's very excitable. Beautiful husky, but likes to play guard dog, and we gotta train her not to yell at neighbors, especially our poor landlady. She's the sweetest, and yet, for some reason, she's got a hair up her ass. Okay, let's see. Where was I? Okay. Ooh, the apartment is warming up. Thank God. Turned up the heat because my hands are cold. So I jumped off of work right at 5. This problem has been pissing me off. I do not know what to do. But I was even considering multi-streaming, but not gonna do it. Um, okay, so I've proven it's not the repo authentication or authorization. It goes through, it pulls it. I've proven via an IntelliJ instance that the class exists in the jar, but it still doesn't resolve, and I don't get it. I started using ChatGPT because my friend was like, "Dude, just start doing it." So like I Maven redownload jars, decompile a jar, open API generator jar packaging, like how does that work? Like just kind of like trying to get it to give me more info. I actually learned something. Was it? Uh, wasn't this one? provided. So I had a goof up in my Palm. Actually, I'm not even in my environment's not even up right now. Um, my coding environment. Well, yes, this is. Yeah, complain about Idios Amplify. Get Theo. Now I'm curious. What are you gonna say, Theo? I'm listening. Wow, he's got a lot of content planning. That's dope. Can't spell. Yeah, I had a friend who was considering working with Amplify. He's working with Flutter for a bit. It's a widget-based front-end platform. He abandoned Angular. He just wanted to try something new. Probably the smartest person. Well, he's definitely one of the smarter people I've worked with. Absolute genius. And most of those geniuses I've met have an ego. I guess so do I. I have opinions, and they're not always popular. So yeah, I've ruled out most things. I'm kind of scratching my head. I think yeah, I think I'm gonna get. I don't know. I did make my title on this about Maven, but I'm probably gonna pull in a colleague of mine who we now work at the same place. Or actually, we worked at the same place, last two places. I referred him. He's a great guy, really smart. I learned a lot from him. We disagree on some things, which I actually like to try to find people who I disagree with, because they're going to come at things with a different perspective. If you're in an echo chamber of what you understand and believe, you're never going to get yourself out of that cave, as Plato puts it. Like so, I'm pretty excited to get him to help me if he has the time. Neither I have the procedure on my nose this Friday, but I ramble. On my Twitch name was the Rambling Developer. Rambling Developer. Code Coffee Cats I think is a lot more tame name, but actually while I'm here, I'm gonna open this. So I was just kind of taking a look at like the different. So while I was debugging or trying to just reverse engineer what my problem is, there are templates. They use Mustache for Open API Generator. Um, so yeah, it's really hard to actually like think while watching another stream, huh? It's like focusing on two conversations, one with yourself and one with someone else. But like they use templating, and it's funny. I'm working with Angular Kinematics lately, and I'm really excited because I think we're gonna highly accelerate my current company or my current job's development process, and I'm pumped because creating the same table structure over and over but doing slight modifications is awesome. I've learned a lot. I've been learning what works, what doesn't, where I've over engineered, where I've possibly even under engineered. Usually the first versus the latter. But I'm excited to start building kind of like these mustache, um, what do you call it? Templates. I'm going to do that with Angular and try to accelerate some things I've been doing in my career a lot over and over and over. So that's really exciting to me. Um, Selection. Wow, I feel like I knew I've been working at IntelliJ for a while now. So I haven't figured that out. I'm frustrated because I've reverse engineered the jar. It's there. YouTube ain't free, Theo. Oh, he's not live anymore? Oh, that's really interesting. That's interesting. I am doing this so I can have my headset running the whole time because for some reason Logitech makes it so when it doesn't have any input output outside or any output and my input being the mic, it turns itself off and it's really frustrating to be muted here and there and notice like wait there's no longer that slight running sound I hear of the speakers. So I think what I want to do is kind of reboot this. I don't have authorization authentication. I'm kind of waiting to build my front end to even consider it. It's definitely really important. I want to use Spring security and have a principal and have that context go from the first like authentication, authorization endpoints, or really authentication endpoint and the authorization kind of trickle down all the way to my repo technology or implementations because I've worked in places where we kind of pass it from a parameter all the way down and it's hideous. And it's not saying those people aren't smart and they didn't do it the right way. Time, money, quality. That's the triangle of development. And I have all the time in the world for this project, and I do only work on it once in a while. Um, it doesn't cost me any money to build it locally, which I've made the mistake of trying to using cloud providing technology to build software. Huge mistake. In my opinion, you should always be able to run it locally. Those pipelines and builds should be a part of a organization that already makes money, but ideally you should be able to run it on your machine, the whole kit caboodle. So that's something I feel very passionately about. What's going on? All right, so I need to solve that. Yeah, Theo, let's do it. Taking my pause. Theo's talking about Line of Prime. That's interesting. I've never heard of it. Excalidraw. Never heard of that. I like it. Excalibur. That's kind of cool. Ooh. Oh. Thank you for turning on Dark View, Theo, because my eyes just got relieved. So I did a bunch of things last night. Even after I stopped the stream, I like kept hacking away at it because I don't know, my impulse control is low and I'm like really frustrated. So I made interface only. Didn't really make much change to anything I was trying to accomplish. Um, but essentially, it comes in with config, model, etc. I've already stubbed out my. I don't. OpenAPI is awesome. It does a lot of really cool stuff. The only thing I really think I want is the API, the controller, because I've tried to write a controller interface and it's just failed miserably. It just didn't work. Like, frankly, didn't work. And what I liked about the interface was I got the whole kit caboodle. So actually, let me pull that up. So if I go into my source, and I reconfigured the Java to be source main Java. I don't know. It feels like it generates a real project. And if you know that this is a generating project, fuck it. It should feel like a normal Java project. So you have all these things that I've defined, like specifications, JSON prop. Like, for me, like, I don't see the value in adding JSON property annotations to things that will be identical. Like, I could totally see if you're trying to do like snake case, camel case, weird things that aren't necessarily normal. But if you're gonna do, well, not camel case. Camel case is this. This is camel case. Snake case, or what's the other one? Underscore. I think that might be snake case. All right. It doesn't matter. I'm showing my ignorance here. But a lot of this functionality here, like, I don't really care for this. It gives me a lot of pre-generated annotations that I could just grab and slap on it. That would be cool, but I don't really care about these classes. No config is generated now that I turned it to interface only. This is what I want. I just want all these beautiful annotations that they do for me. It defines what to expect. It uses Spring technology that I am often ignorant about or do the least of configurations. So it's just, for me, I thought this was really cool. It's stubbed out. It would throw an error if you ran it because I have some feelings in default default methods on an interface. When I first heard of that, I was like table flipping, like Jesus and the goddamn temples or tabernacles. I don't know what you call them. I'm not Jews. But anyway, I thought they were like literally heresy. I still feel that they're not right, but I will say it's pretty sleek that I don't have to have my auto-generated code have these stubs. My interface already has them to say, "Hey, jackass, you haven't built me yet." So that's interesting to me. What I think it does prevent is the functionality in which you will have your IDE yell at you like, "Hey, it's not implemented necessarily." It's a fallback. So I find it interesting that it's even allowed to have default functionality. I can totally see for like a import agnostic situation where you kind of want to fall back and use something that is non-custom to your implementation. Makes sense. Like my mappers, for example. Mappers might make sense. Don't love it. Can't say I completely hate it. It just feels wrong from an interface value standpoint, that from what I've learned in college. But anyway, so I think it comes with all this documentation, things that I would have to write manually that I only do when I'm feeling in a good mood, and maybe I shouldn't say it out loud so future jobs or my current job goes, now we know. Just means give me better vacations and encourage me to leave once in a while. Sometimes I don't know when to stop. Um, so, needless to say, I think this is really powerful, really cool, and I just wanted something to say, hey, my API is to spec because I implemented the interface, not because I was very anal and very diligent on how I wrote the spec. I believe interfaces yell at you when you don't implement it correctly. The implementation is a whole other story. They will have plenty of issues, plenty of errors, but that's not what I'm trying to solve here. Like, I don't want any of this, like, let's build a Spring Boot application out of auto-generated code. Like, nah, I don't really care about any of this. Did I comment that out? No, this is auto-generated. But it does give you something where to start, and I think that's really important. A lot of tools like this coming out. Uh, and I did use Red Hat for my project. You can see that they had like open APIs using Red Hat archetypes, which I think is really important. I worked in a consulting firm, and their goal was to create a framework on a framework for .NET, and it was absolutely ambitious. I learned consulting wasn't for me, but I left them with a tool that I had learned how to build, and then I did it even better than I had done for our client because, well, you learn one way to do it, and then you try to improve yourself. So I gave them the building block, but I felt it didn't feel right to me to continue. Every job I've worked at, they want an API platform. Like, they're like, how can I build, handed a class, and boom, I have an API, and it's like, okay, bro, like that's cool, but why? Trying to steal like this heart and soul out of development. So for me, I think it's really important. It has a lot of value. Companies like Red Hat already have this for Java. That's great. I have no doubt that other consulting firms will come out. I mean, Red Hat does consulting. That's what they do. They write their operating system, but they also consult on how to implement and use it. Um, so I think it's really important that we have open source generator tools and frameworks on frameworks to be able to build things rapidly. That being said, I don't know if I want to be the guy who builds it all the time. I really like solving problems for a customer or a person, and that feels good to me. I enjoy building like schematics, like I was saying. Like there is value to framework-like tools, but it's not until after I've already done it once or twice where I feel like, okay, now I'm gonna do it third, fourth, fifth, sixth, infinite amount of times. Time to build a generator and time to create migration strategies on um, the things we've done a lot. So that way you have like 30 pages, you can just run against everything, and if it's not like a custom implementation, boom, Bob's your uncle, it works. So my goal is to keep that in mind, use development accelerators where needed, but not try to invent all of them until I'm doing it for the fourth, fifth, sixth time. For me, I only have 3 controllers here. I'm probably on more, but there's not really a whole lot of value in me working on tools. Anyway, so my ADD is kicking in. I'm on tangent from my own past work experiences, but I'm gonna let Alaska out, the good old husky pup. Should be like my mascot with my 2 kitties, Halo and Lily. Oh my god, Lily, you're so cute. You little smoosh. I'm gonna go let her out. I'll be right back. Um, yeah, this project has been an eye opener. Like I've really worked best with a team, with people who push me, who tell me, hey, maybe you're wrong. Um, I said rambling developer. This is just my outlet for rambling about things I enjoy, but also, god damn it, why doesn't it work? Hey, no barking. Please don't bark. No, 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 no. We're gonna go upstairs. She's a sweet old lady. She's given us a wonderful place to live at a fantastic price for the area we live in. She deserves respects. She deserves respects. Yes, I know. I know. I know. Oh, thank yous. I love you too. Stay. Stay up here. If you bark, you have to go back in the crate. And I don't want to do that because you shouldn't have to feel like you're always in the crate. Be good. She's like 3 years old. I actually moved in with my partner recently, and beautiful dog. She's gonna go and bark. I just know it. My landlady says she doesn't mind the barking, but I know I do. Ah, here we go. Hey! Well, we'll go back in 20 minutes or something. The landlady is hopefully going to be inside eventually, so she doesn't get all riled up, but shouldn't have to matter. Hopefully she'll learn this summer when we're all outside together. Okay, where was I? So yeah, this project has been a learning experience. It's just me putting to the test the things I learned. I like optionals, if you have noticed. They're kind of a great way to give you a null and then check if it's null in a syntax that I think is really cool. And if it's, I like it. I think it explicitly says, hey, this is null. Probably should check it. And there's other libraries that give you optionals out of the box. So, what can I say? What else? Also, we should put a gate by that entry as well, so that way we can just be like, nope, no more barking. You go. We gotta train it out of her. She's a young pup. She'll learn, hopefully. Um, yeah. So it's essentially a way of initializing. Say, are you there? I could do null checks. I think optionals are cool. Look, I don't mind using a little extra memory for that. saving 10 times your salary a couple months. God, I hope. I mean, I've done that before at a job when I wasn't working in coding, but definitely haven't been. I make people money. I don't save them money usually. I do love infrastructure updates that save money, but Theo is always on a interesting rant. Yeah, he's talking about Kubernetes, Terraform, when really it doesn't make sense to use it. Anyway, what to say? What to say? So I don't know. I don't even know where I want to go with this right now because I can't solve it. I could copy pasta it in, but that seems dumb to me. Um, so if I was to do this, create my open API. So I'm gonna do this just to fact check myself. I have run it in the same IDE, the OpenAPI rental, like I did my last night stream. But it's just so frustrating. It makes me feel so stupid. All right, do I need? Yeah, see, it kind of needs the whole kitchen sink here. So part of me wants to make this a generic interface. I won't go that far. If I did, it would pretty much just be a generic controller interface, which is great. I have tried doing that before, so I'm not gonna lift and shift this. I'm just annoyed. I'm really annoyed. I really wish I knew what was doing wrong so I could take advantage of this. I know that my controller conforms to this interface. I just wanted the Java docs. Like that's what I believe interfaces are great for. Documentation. They show you with the least amount of code. What am I supposed to do? All these annotations that you get for free because they're on the stubbed out version. That was the thing. I had a colleague who used OpenAPI generation. He imported the package like I'm doing. Like I'm trying to repeat a pattern I've already seen. And he got all the annotations for free. And all he had in a controller was just methods. It was just so simple and it blew my mind. So I was like, how can I do that? So I've gone down the rabbit hole, and in my rentals implementation here, I've done the absolute minimum I could so I could strip it away later. Unfortunately, not going to be the case. Like you see, like I define rentals up here in my request mapping. They define it in their direct post mappings here. Uh, Syntactical style that I personally prefer. So it's really frustrating. I'm gonna delete this because it's just not gonna pan out. But it's really annoying. Like I just don't understand. Confused. Why aren't we deleting? There we go. Okay. So we'll go to my So you'll see counted all that out. Balls. Kubernetes for your blog. That's hilarious. Yeah, check out Theo. He's got this website called T3 Stack. Um, it's really interesting. Create T3 app. I'm pretty sure it's like a React Next.js um, toolkit, and it's pretty cool. Like it's really cool. Actually, I'll bring it up here. I am really interested in it, but I am trying to gain my expertise in something that I've been doing for a while and kind of showcase that in a public forum, so that way when I'm going into interviews or even just like kind of power on my colleagues, like I have something to show. All the work I've done in my career so far in the 6, 7 years now that I've been working, um, has been proprietary. So, and that my last interview cycle. I love the company I work for. It might even be my forever home. Not certain, but I think it's some. I enjoy it. I enjoy the people, and for me, it's all about the people. Like my last job, I stayed as long as I did because I didn't want to leave the people. They gave me multiple opportunities. I grew immensely there, but it was clear the growth had declined or stopped. So I'm gonna probably. I think I'm just gonna. Let's see. Let's see if I can if it runs. Debug. We're gonna run it. I like the Spring Boot dashboard. Really sleek. It's real. This VS Code setup I have is really lightweight, super fast. I find IntelliJ is very heavy. I love my setup here. I do have a Beefcake Mac. It's like more expensive than my car. I like started consulting. I was like, I can buy the best Mac I need because I need it. Totally didn't need it, but that's all right. I enjoy it. So it ran. That's great. I'm gonna commit it. So I'm actually on my booking functionality branch. My booking branch has pretty much all of these: the guest, the leasing, all that stuff. So, oh no, I don't want that. I don't really care. Either way, it's like the exact same thing. But my Palm here has my updates I've done. So, I started changing package names last night. I was doing everything. They're using political ideas left and right. No, BS no comment. It's hilarious. So we're revert that. I pretty much just want the 2.7 and my Lombok update because it was embarrassing that I didn't leave it that way. And ChatGPT is like, hey, Jackass, this is what provided means. It means it's going to be provided at runtime, which is exactly why it was erroring that I didn't have getters and setters. How did I double it up? I'm so embarrassed. Oh, I was using IntelliJ and add it. Got it. Um, I was literally trying anything. I was grasping at straws like I was yesterday. So clean this up. Just do the upgrade and provide in or provided. Yep. So those are my two updates. 2.7.1 Spring Boot parent and fixed stupid Lombok error. Oh, that's right. I think my token is expired, so I have to do this the manual way. Alright, so I have a running instance. Fantastic. We're gonna open up Postman. We're gonna create a couple things and stuff. So on my authentication, I can just ping this all day. It's pretty fantastic. I think for local development, shouldn't really need authentication. I worked at a place where the authentication was a sidecar, authorization was a part of the app. So like the app only really needs to know what are your privileges or roles. Um, uh, I like the idea that roles are a set of privileges. So really, you're just dealing with privileges. Roles are an abstraction above that for business, sales, and conceptual management. But so I get no content 204. That's great. This is my paging. So I'll get an empty object. Ooh, I even have a thing. Oh yeah, I have a page size of 3. So yeah, I'm using an assembler because I want to do HADOS. Because I would like to make a front end that kind of is based off of the structure, or I want the API to define what can the front end do, not the front end define what the API can do. Um, and I found that in a lot of the work I've done, the front end controls a lot. So when you go to redevelop a front end because of the technology is become no longer supported long term, you're kind of left holding the bag because you don't know the API doesn't document itself because it's really just a way to get data, access it. It doesn't do transformations. It doesn't do anything other than store your data and get it in a secure manner. I want to say here's what you can do next. Here are the URLs to do what you want to do next, and pretty much let the front end have a list of next steps and have it affect the UI's render. So that way, a lot of these privileges and stuff aren't the UI checking using guards and Angular and all that. It's pretty much like, hey, do what does the API say I'm allowed to do next? Because I want the API to guide the user in a sense. So if it ever gets rewritten, your source of truth is no longer a front end with a lot of janky shit. It's a back end with probably its own janky shit, but that is the goal of this project, to make a very clean API that self-documents through interfaces, comments on interfaces, methods, classes, etc. But we'll see. So I'm going to add a rental. So a super duper long rental with a bunch of fees. And you'll see it calculate my total cost. I was working on a Mongo setup where all sub entities had IDs. The current cost is a cost entity, so I was like, why shouldn't I be showing the ID? Because you could update the cost and now it's no longer the same. And I want to store historical changes over that. So instead of necessarily, I did learn about audit tables and stuff recently, so maybe that's an opportunity for that. But I think this is the way I want to go with it right now. Like you'll see, it has created, updated, all that stuff. Because you could update the current cost. So that's maybe where an audit table might make sense. I'm not making it so it's immutable and you can't change it. But for me, I want to be able to add new costs for a new year or something like that. So it might be an over engineering implementation detail, but we'll see. So it's very simple, pretty simple structure here, nothing crazy. So we'll go into my editor. We're gonna go into the database. So I've been using this. I've been meaning to buy it. So you'll see here host greeting. What's that? Interesting. I don't remember what that was supposed to be for. Let's see if I have documentation. Oh shit! Doing my whole IntelliJ. And this is where I'll use a JSON property because it's not a property on an object, it is a getter. And I believe your interfaces should be getters or methods. Um, in Java, you can't do property interfacing as far as I'm aware, unless I'm real outdated now. But I use composition. I think composition is a really important thing. So although you see, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, the welcome message. That's why I have it there. That could be custom to your host. So yeah, host and guest are the terminologies or the entities or domain language I want to use. I think it's a great, like, more generic way to describe it that doesn't have. I don't think it has a ton of cultural barriers. Where like landlord and other things are kind of Saxon or English-like terms, or I think host is maybe more Greek. I don't know. Maybe that's just my bias coming out there. Like the Lord of Hosts, good old Zeus. Um, yeah, so that's what I'm doing here, and you can see that my ID's there. Like, I don't want any of that messy, reusable, like, hey, it has an ID, hey, it has these specifications, hey, it has a name. That's embarrassing. I've been working in TypeScript for months. I haven't touched Java much. Oh, I redefined it. So if you go in here, oh no, maybe it's duplication. And this is actually a Jackson class, so that's what I mean is like finding rebuildable, reusable like composition interfaces and classes like the Jackson JSON library or XML library calls it faster XML has these concepts already built in it. Why write it myself? Um, I love documentation. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, so I proved that I actually can fetch via this method where I'm like saying, here's my artifact, please get it. Um, hmm, let's see what Cat's saying to me.
Just out with the girls. There's Jessica. Say hi, Jessica. Woo! There's Bianca looking so cute. Yes. There's Britt. Britt, say hi.
Oh
Woo!
my god.
Yes, get it, girl. There's Amanda. Get it. Yes. Cool.
Okay, so you say I can fetch. I can even update. Like this is just me to feel comfortable. I built something that actually fucking works. Why is this named update? Oh, I think this is a patch that I was considering. So let's do. I'm gonna save it, but this is not implemented. And this is where I wish I had my OpenAPI spec implemented correctly, because I could just plug and play their way. I had to write this, so it's kind of frustrating to me because I'm not getting all that development accelerator. I'm just kind of learning how to use it instead of accelerating. I'm just kind of learning and decelerating in a way. So if I wanted to update um, my rental here, bad request. Well, here we are. Jason, yep, my ID, yep. Well, I didn't put in my ID, so there we go. Ooh, my total cost doesn't total correctly. Alright, let's go fix it. So while we're here. Oh, look at that. I would love to make that an aspect. So if I go into my service here, so you can see like clear separation of bloat, a lot of code, right? Maybe not bloat, but a lot of code. Hmm. Hmm. So if my cost entity, I'm taking it, mapping it from, and my architecture is fairly one-to-one, but the goal is in terms of view model versus persistent model. My goal though is there will be a lot of persistence details that will be advanced functionality Spring give me. I don't really want the view to see that, and if this gets sold as an API integration, you definitely don't want them to see that. So set total cost. Yep. Oh, I already had it here. Got him. An embarrassment. So why aren't we working? Let's debug. So if they don't equal each other, so my existing entity has a total cost and using a big int makes this not, a big decimal makes it not viewable. Let's see if I can, So where the model's current cost, the total cost is not equal to the total cost on the existing entity, we're going to stream it. So let's see. So we're here. I should be adding get the fees. God, yeah, this is what I get for coding all day and deciding I'm gonna code now. I'm not even stoned. I'm just tired. Been drinking a beer and listening to another coder rant. While I'm trying to think. I think I'm gonna stop with Cynthia. I really enjoy his videos, but I think it's time for some music and get in the groove. Because I was trying to just figure out maybe an import problem, but oh god, what if that's coming through? Yep, no, it's not. Listen to Heart and Mind. Up against the wall. All right, let's see what we total. 2578 T586. Perfect. So it did overwrite. I don't know what I did wrong. That scares me deeply, but alright. Because it came back as 0 a minute ago. Alright, well, we're going to pretend that didn't happen. For now. Because I can send in a new fees value. My total isn't true. But my API should be truth. Right? It should always calculate. That's my opinion on how that works. I don't think that's a persisted value. It's been months. So let me see here. Oh, I do have total costs here. Interesting. Yeah, I really like this tool. Alright, so I guess what I'm trying to accomplish today is not going to be my Maven bullshit, because I'm just kind of tired of trying to solve it. I have a service that, or controller and service that mimics, or that interface. I've proven that to myself. It's just really frustrating. Can't get all of that stuff for free. That's why I haven't done it, because I wanted to stub out my guest and leasing. This is what I love about the repository technology, is I just get so much for free. This is where HeyDocs kind of sucks. And this is where the default functionality I'm using after I just bitched. And yeah, I have my own CRUD interface. So I mean, it's not necessary that I implement that interface via OpenAPI, but I really wanted to get a lot of that for free without having to be like, oh, it doesn't conform. So I had an idea where I would create a lease entity and request a lease on a rental, and then we'll create a lease entity. Kind of straightforward. So it's not going to be exactly like a CRUD API. It's a little more RPC, a procedure in action. And when it comes to booking, I want to say, let's get our bookings. Let's get the older bookings that we've had, so like history. Like if you're on Airbnb, right? Yeah, I want to make it via OpenAPI, but alright, well, so what do I want to do today? I don't know if I want to build a UI right now. So I don't even remember what this looks like. So yeah, I was thinking about holding on to copies of documents. So it tells me that the database is the wrong place to hold blobs. But that being said, I think that's how I'm starting until I create a bucket or file system that's stateless or separated, so that way it's not dependent on the box that it's running here, because I don't want it running on a box. That's pretty awful. You can see my composition there. What do I mean by release state? Host release a proposal. I actually went through the process of renting this apartment. Actually, now that I think about it, time to let poor Alaska out. Don't think our landlady's there. It's been quiet, poor thing. Hey, pretty girl. Hi, Z's. You gonna be goods? Not gonna bark at Jeannie, right? You gonna be goodses? Yes, swaggy butt. Ah, run! Gotta see if I can bark at anybody. Yep, I know how it is. Chicks. Oh, you're so cute. I think she just farted. Oh god. Oh yeah. I was defining the terminology here. My own sanity. So I was thinking booking. Um. Oh, weird. Hmm. Interesting. I don't think I'm using reservation anywhere. I'm using the rental relationship here. Dope. I like creating composition, if you haven't noticed. It does duplicate, but I think it kind of states almost declaratively, like, what is it? Yeah, I'm using it there. Okay. So right now I'm building an API for API's sake. I'm kind of like retracing what I want to do. It's been so long. So I think reservation is gonna get ixnayed. Now I have all this work done, but seems like I think what I'm trying to do here is like use booking as like, hey, you've booked. No, it doesn't make sense. My entity does not make sense at all. Well, I'm glad I realized this later. Well, no, if a reservation contains a booking, then what's the fucking difference? Right. So I think a reservation, simply put, kind of creeped out how much of a fail this is. So I'm saying I think it's my separation too, but I have to think about that. What I really like is the update and create validation, not null versus null. It's like these are just empty classes or interfaces, but they give me a way to taxonomify like when to do something. And actually, I'll go back here, and you'll see that I group them in my API by saying, hey, we validate on create this interface. So I think it's really sleek. It creates a way to create conditional validation. Actually, I learned that from that guy who taught me about OpenAPI, so I think that's really cool. Okay, screw it. I think let's look at together. I'm gonna create a monolith. So that's something I've decided pretty concretely. Is I want a monolith for my UI and my UI and front end because they ship together at the moment. Um, Eventually, I could host the UI like not on the box, but what's the fucking point? Like, if you're gonna be requesting things all the time, why not serve it up from the box? So actually, how am I gonna do that? So let's go here. Yeah, I have a lot of goals here, so let's take a look actually. Nope. So this is kind of why I really wanted to do OpenAPI, because I had a strong path. Like it's only booking. This idea of reservation is different. Did I implement that? And that was the other thing I really liked. The statuses, the enums that I can define via OpenAPI. Like that's half the reason I want to use it. Is if you go here, I just define a list of strings. Where is it? Yeah, you'll see like all these different enums. So stay status, tender status. So tendering when you're requesting. So my project is really not API first, which is a real bummer to me. Like I was really hoping to do that. Hmm. Hmm. I haven't seen this way of doing it before. still kind of requires two projects to exist separately, which I don't know if I want. I kind of want to be the kitchen sink here. Hypermedia as the engine of application state. As the engine of application state. Where's my Git? It's NVM. There we go. I like Sass. Oh. I didn't realize there's a difference between those two. So what version am I using? Cool, 15. Sweet. think I'm gonna start some boiling water so I can have some mac and cheese. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. For all my many viewers of Zero. Alright, a little chilly. Oh my god, you guys are snuggling in the same crate? God, you're so cute. My kitties. They love each other. Really? God damn, 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Alaska's yelling at the landlady still. My god. So my plan is to make libraries. Generate. Or do from the host perspective. Oh, I'm not in the workspace yet. Confused. Where'd it go? Alright. It's such a big vision for this project. Now I'm like drawing blanks on where to even begin. So I want to generate the first homepage, which would be So I'm gonna go with material here. Um, I've been flip flopping a lot, but it's just time to make a decision. I feel kind of dumb. NG add, huh? Oh, right, because they're using schematics. I forgot. Yep, let's proceed. So I want to work on schematics like this. Like, look how sleek it is. It's not npm. It doesn't have all this things being spit up, all of its dependencies. It's like, yeah, here's what we're going with. I'm actually going to be going with my own custom color set. I want animations. Sick. So I haven't worked with Angular material. I've really worked with people that use Angular material, or it's CDK really. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go. So I don't think this needs a toolbar. I think the main application of a toolbar, I want a very cohesive feel. So I think this project or library is going to be very focused about creating rentals, editing rentals, and then previewing them as the user might see them. Hmm. Is there breadcrumbs? No. Yeah, I haven't worked with it. This is what I like, is it's very directive based, which means it's closed for modification, open for extension, kind of solid rules. Something I'm trying to work towards in my own work. Don't think I'm always there, but So yeah, he's wow, it's kind of spooky, huh? Hmm. When the heck did I see that then? Am I losing my mind? I might be. Hmm. Maybe I should rename it. Can I rename this? Hmm. Guess I have to read documentation more. That's what I thought. Yeah, I have to import just like that. Is it? It's absolutely not. I think it's installed in my main project though, so that makes sense. It is. Oh, I'm creeped out. Hmm. I'm gonna have to switch my IDE setup. That sucks because it's not really helping me out much. I think Copilot gets in the way a lot. I'm gonna go check on my boiling water. All right. Mac and cheese is now in the boiling water, so I got about 5 minutes. Keep my ear open for that sound. My timer. Yeah, my IDE didn't really help me much there. It's a little concerning. I do love this plugin right here. Okay. Wow, look at that documentation. That's fucking nuts. That's pretty cool. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to make, so it's my rentals, have a main page. Wow, that's sick. Wow, that's kind of spooky. Well, I'm going to have to get the gears moving on this because I'm going to need to define TypeScript types based off of the classes. We're look into that as well on how I might generate it. I've been coding all day. I think I'm actually going to stop here because I'm not really doing anything of value. And I'm pooped.